Hey everyone, what's up? This is Uri for Guerrilla Poker. By popular demand of the comments, I'm gonna make a live play 3-tabling PLO video. I know this isn't what most of you guys are looking for. I think so. Which queens do I want to check versus bet? This one is maybe even more of a check because it can turn some nice draws. So in a way, it needs less protection. Because say I check, I turn it the same draw he does, right? So I don't mind him turning a draw as much. And now it's just very strong, so I'll just bet. And probably bet the river. I don't know if this is getting thin, but I feel like I only lose to trap, so I might as well try. These are the spots where I'm not sure enough in PLO. It feels like this should be worth 2 bets, but really depends on how he structures his range. It would have been a 6 spot for him to check raise bluff repping tens or something like that. This hand I'll probably re-raise. Yeah, I wonder how this is compared to your usual PLO video that you guys watch. I'd be curious to get a review from an actual PLO reg on this. I've done well in PLO, not a huge sample, probably less than 100,000 hands, but I just try to do kind of heuristics from Hold'em and mix things up. This feels like a board where I'm probably supposed to mix betting and checking. This hand, I'll actually check call. Is this good enough? This might just be good enough to stack off, actually. So let's actually go with a big bet. There are not many good turns for this hand. Yeah, let's do this. So I'd say the question I'm asking with this hand is, if I'd have to bet fold it, I'd rather check call. And if I get to stack off, I'll just bet. And I was unsure, but I feel like over pair to the jack plus a flush draw, it's tough to be doing too badly. He'd basically have to have kings plus a flush draw for me to be doing very badly there. King 10-5-3 double suited might look good to a Hold'em player, but it's a terrible hand. Again, makes bad 2 pairs, bad flush draws. All the cards are kind of disconnected. It's not really where you want to go. And 10-9-6, terrible board given I 4-bet, but we do have enough to go with, so I'll just stick it into hopefully deny some equity, and we hope not be drawing dead, but we might be drawing quite dead here. Again, I'm not well studied enough to know what to do. I know my 4-bet range is very much around aces, so that board's terrible for me. So I need to play very defensive. You know, my hand doesn't really qualify as a trap or anything. I just feel like it might have exactly the properties where you close your eyes and stick in the money, but not really check to defend my checking range or something. This one has, let's think about it. We have no heart, so more bad turns. Yeah, let's check this one back. This is like a reasonable 8 because we have an 8 plus a draw to a queen plus queen, so I think you can call half pot. And we'll now start betting, although probably don't have to. Here we have overpair plus an 8, so an 8 would be like a trips draw. Plus a nut got shot. on a board with two flush draws, so the hand is a bit rough. It's like almost enough to call. This feels to me like almost enough to call, but not quite there. But it's too likely he has some higher pair plus a flush draw, and then we're drawing very thin at that point. This is probably just a good board to bet a lot on because it's difficult for him to find the check raise bluffs. Let's just bet that one a lot. This looks like a good 3-bet hand. And whenever all four of your cards work together and they're not very low, hand has to be good, right? Whereas Queen 10 8 4, the 4 makes the hand terrible. If the 4 were a 7, the hand would be great. This looks like a very good board for my range, and the way I think of that is how our pocket ace is doing, and this looks rainbowy and disconnected enough where I imagine aces just spot and get a stack in. And so I will do that with any hand in my range that I think is strong enough, and that includes this one. And when I go pot here, my opponent has a tough time with a lot of hands that are actually ahead of this. While if we get a stack in, we're generally doing fine. Right? You're really way more interested in folds with a lot of your hands in PLO. Like you pot, and it's not exactly a bluff or a value hand, but the best result for you tends to be fold either way. Even though you're not exactly bluffing, like you're betting to stack off, you still win the most money when the other guy folds. So I'll start out with a bet. I'm just winging these ones for now. Here our opponent checks back deuce 4-7 rainbow. We block ace and king. This seems like a reasonable spot to start bluffing with this hand specifically. He's less likely to have aces and kings, and he's less likely to have spades. And hold'em, you might say, let's show down ace king high, but I don't think it really works that way in PLO. This is actually a very weak hand. It has 3 non-nutted draws, so I'd never check raise it, and I treat it as fairly weak, but kind of have to call one bet because you have too many. Now we make a bad flush on a turn that turns boats, but we still have outs to a bad boat with deuces. So as far as 8 high flushes go, this is not a bad one. Yeah, here on the river we have to decide between, I guess, value betting this, which would be thin, or checking it, hoping he bluffs. And I feel like it's more of a betting hand strength than a trapping hand strength. It feels a bit too weak to trap. Hopefully it's good enough to bet. And here, again, so we have aces. Which aces do we have? Sometimes it just doesn't matter. Aces just always 4-bet, but these are rainbow aces with deuces, so obviously not the best ones, but yeah, I mean, we flopped an ace, so good luck to him. I don't know if I'm supposed to do some other sizing there, but I feel like my range, so much of it is aces. I'm not really too interested in trying to rep something else or giving him odds with whatever. Like, I'm just taking the hand down, basically. Here, reload cards, this is probably a board where I get to have leads. This looks like a nice hand to lead. So let's start out with that. It's the kind of draw that's not like a good draw that can even bet call, but it's not good enough to check raise. So yeah, just throwing around messy thought processes here. This might be a bit loose with the 3. I'm guessing it's okay. Jack 9, 7 double suited, but it's like a 3-card hand, so I'm not sure. And then here we flop a 7 plus a nut got shot. So, we're gonna bet some of these hand types, check some of these hand types. Let's go ahead and bet this one, but could see this going either way. And now I'm definitely gonna bet. And since we both turn the nuts, I don't think I necessarily need to be betting huge and polarized. But now I can be betting huge and polarized. And here aces. With this SPR, I'll just try to show it down. I wonder if I can now turn it into a bluff. I guess I have to try. If he doesn't bet. Feels too unlikely to win. So we'll try. And if he's sitting there with a random 2-pair, it's very tough to put a stack in. Okay, probably time to wrap up soon. So let's say this. I would be very interested in any feedback. Please like and subscribe to the channel, even if you dislike the PLO content. You can write in the comments or you don't do PLO, but I think of this as like I'll do 50 Hold'em videos in one PLO vid for some of the PLO guys watching. I don't know if the algo likes or dislikes that. This feels close to a call. It's a kind of nice hand. Feels like it could 3-bet if it were double suited. So I'll call this as probably too loose at 2-5 if I had to guess. And now again, we have a hand where we have so many components to our hand on the flop because we have a flush draw, an open ender, a set draw. So we have a lot of different components. And of course, we turn something extremely strong on a card which our opponent is unlikely to hit, or at least not to hit the nuts, because 10-9 mostly bets flop for him. So really, for him to continue, he would need to have either a nut flush draw or something strong with queens or 2-pair queens. I wonder if this opens. Probably not. 7-handed. This one I'm gonna call. And yeah, let's go and set out next blind. So check to us, we have a fairly weak hand, and there are not many reasons to bet this hand, right? We have queens, we block kings, we only lose to aces that we might get to fold in terms of over pairs, and it's just a weak hand on a texture like this. Now when he instantly pots the jack turn, we turn an open ender, but not only an open ender, we also have the queen. So I guess I'll call this is a bit of a crying call. I'm not sure it's correct. And then his half pot river is a bit weird because anything that potted the turn should generally pot the river. So I'm very confused. Probably gonna click call. Due to being confused, when I get confused, I tend to call. It's like, does it make sense for value? No. Call. Okay. I mean, I don't know. Something weird is going on. Does he just have queen 9 and we got leveled? Yeah, tricked me. Yeah, fair enough. I really tried to think of these spots where, I'll always think, could I have found the fold and what did I know? But I also want to think ahead. So this is how this guy plays. You take the note. Next time, maybe I expect this to be bluffy, but from this guy, this is how he sizes value. And maybe from him, pot is going to be bluffy. So I always take the note and kind of think of it as lesson learned for next time. right? Like this guy will try to rope me in when he has a good hand. And so I won't pay the rope ins as often, but I will. This feels like a almost 3-bet, but it's probably too weak with no suits. So I won't pay the ropes, but maybe when he pots, I'll think it's more bluff heavy in a similar type of spot. Here, what a weird hand string. 3-pair and a gut shot. On a board with an on-board straight and everything's a Broadway, this hand does not have many incentives to bet. It would probably have to fold to a check raise. Now we have 4-pair. Yeah, really just want to see a river as cheap as possible. And I mean, we kind of have to, I feel like. And now, if it's check to me, I'll try bluffing with my king of hearts. Assuming anyone with the ace of hearts would have bet, and so having the king makes it just too unlikely for these guys to have something to call me with. And I tell the story of having a high flush very well. And I'm not going to take the half pot bet size like this guy did. That's not generally my style. Yeah, I guess if I were a proficient PLO player, I would have thought of that scenario occurring where river is a flush and it's checked to me in advance. Because really blockers are worth quite a lot in PLO, the way this game works. More than they are in Hold'em, I guess I'd say. Right? Where in a spot like this, if it comes a flush and it's checked to me on the river, actually King of Hearts is more valuable than Ace of Hearts because they would bet the Ace of Hearts. They might check the King of Hearts and then I block it, right? So this might actually get more folds than a different one. And yeah, let's do the last hand and we'll wrap up. So bad board for my range, bad board for my hand. Very weak hand on this board. We're probably just check folding, depending on the size of the bet, right? We can't really improve very much. We don't have many outs. We'd need like the ace of clubs or the four of, like the correct four, the correct ace, or make a non-nut straight. Just a very weak hand. Okay, guys, so we'll wrap up here. Let me know what you think. I know this isn't the usual content, and I will see you guys next time.